Hi, I'm Jen David Lang. I run the Main Idea and I write education and leadership book summaries for educators. I want to introduce 4 books to you today on the topic of student well-being. The first book I want to share is called Supporting Student Mental Health: Essentials for Teachers, and this is by Michael Hass and Amy Ardell. I know teachers aren't counselors, nor should they be, but the truth is that students often go to teachers first when they're struggling. That's because you see them every day and they trust you. So you're the ones who are providing them with initial support, such as listening, and also connecting those students to needed resources like counseling. One research study suggests that as many as 70% of students receive mental health services right in their schools. And it's often because you, the teachers, are the ones who direct them there. And I don't need to tell you that mental health needs in kids are skyrocketing these days. It's well documented. I hear it from everyone. I hear it from my guidance counselor husband. And at the same time, there's a shortage of mental health care providers. So what's happening is that teachers are finding themselves in the position of being de facto counselors, sometimes with little to no training. So this book steps in to provide a response to that gap by helping to provide teachers with just the right amount of information so that they can, 1, better understand mental health issues, 2, recognize signs of mental health challenges, 3, know how to respond effectively when students come to you, and 4, learn about useful resources in your schools and communities. So this is a book you can really turn to be prepared when you're concerned about students with mental health challenges in your school. The second book on the topic of student well-being I want to share with you is Reclaiming Youth at Risk by Larry Brentrow, Martin Brokenleg, and Steve Van Bakkern. Schools have always had a huge role to play in providing opportunities for youth at risk. But with the pandemic, they have an even larger role because so many more students are deeply hurting. This book takes a unique look at ways to support our most troubled youth. Rather than focusing on their behavior, which is really a symptom, the authors believe that the best approach is to address young people's unmet needs. They say that most of the difficult behaviors that we observe result from youth not really having their basic needs met. And they say that all students have a need for 4 things: belonging, mastery, independence, and generosity. When these needs go unmet, then youth respond with a range of emotional, behavioral, and yes, academic and learning problems. So how do we meet these 4 basic needs? Well, the authors show us how, as educators, we can focus on the 4 A's, and that is attachment. How do we help students develop a sense of belonging? Achievement. How to help students develop a sense of mastery? Autonomy. How to help them develop their independence? And finally, altruism. How to develop generosity, a sense of helping others. So I love the way the authors of this book deeply honor children and share a real strengths-based approach to working with them. Also, email me. I have a free PowerPoint that you can use to introduce the ideas from this book to others. Because just imagine the power if all the adults in all of our schools took responsibility for these 4 needs. The third book that I have for you on the topic of student well-being is called Social Emotional Learning in the Classroom by William Ribas, Deborah Brady, and Jane Harden. Now more than ever, our students need to learn social emotional skills. You know that, I'm sure, but as teachers, you are probably being bombarded by new initiatives and programs all the time. What I like about this book is that they do not do that. They show you how to incorporate social emotional learning into what you already do without introducing a new program or a new curriculum. So in fact, without even knowing it, you probably already incorporate a number of SEL skills into your teaching. So fun fact, research shows that when classrooms focus on developing social emotional skills in students, their classroom management issues go down while there's an increase in academic achievement. So it's a win-win situation. I like that the book clearly defines social emotional learning by breaking it into 5 component parts, which many of you are familiar with. And I really like that they show you how to integrate SEL into almost every aspect of classroom life K-12. Everything from the physical setup of the room to the classroom routines you use to how you engage students. So overall, without too much effort, if you teach K-12 students, you should probably be able to integrate SEL into almost everything you do without too much effort. The fourth and final book that I'd like to share with you about student well-being is called Lost at School: Why Our Kids with Behavioral Challenges Are Falling Through the Cracks and How We Can Help Them, by Dr. Ross Greene. Speaking of lost, I lost my book. I must have lent it to someone, so this is my summary. Here is the book here. In schools, we're losing kids with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges. We don't really understand these students so well, so we end up treating them in ways that often make the problems worse. And I know these situations can be quite stressful for teachers. So if you are a teacher who struggles with the kid who drives you crazy or disrupts the class, it's worth taking a look at this book. The book provides a compelling solution backed by research. The author, Dr. Greene, found that kids with behavioral challenges lack important thinking skills to help them deal with challenging situations, so we need to teach those skills. So how do we do it? Well, Dr. Greene came up with an approach decades ago for dealing with kids with behavioral challenges called collaborative problem solving. And it has just 3 simple steps that I like a lot. The first is empathy, and that's when you ask the student to try to understand what's going on, what's the kid's perspective. Number 2 is when you define the problem, and that's when you share as the adult what the problem is from your perspective. And finally, number 3, the invitation. I like that word. It's when you invite the student to collaboratively with you or other adults try to address the problem. And I love this simple approach, and not only can counselors use it, but teachers, APs, parents, anyone, and it works with kids of all ages. In the book itself, Dr. Greene includes a lot of moving real-life narratives to help you really see what this approach looks like and what it sounds like. And I love when books give you actual language that you can use with students. These narratives make the book a page turner, perfect for summer, and it would also be great as part of a book club. You can email me. I have a set of book club questions if you're interested in reading the book as a group.